Here on GHOne television, my name is Obed Gaglo. Here are top stories for this morning. Coming up in this bulletin, President Mahama announces evacuation arrangements to bring home victims of terror attacks in neighboring Burkina Faso. And also, government pushes for strategic reset of cocoa sector over recent challenges as President Mahama urges decisive shifts from raw bean exports to value-added processing. And later in this bulletin, controversial anti-gay bill laid before Parliament again, sparking renewed debate as majority slams minority over claims it supports the bill. We have details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Do stay. Grateful for choosing us. Now to our first story. President John Dramani Mahama has disclosed that Ghana Armed Forces is making urgent arrangements to evacuate Ghanaian victims of the recent terrorist attack in Burkina Faso for medical treatment back home. The horrific incident over the weekend in Titiao, northern Burkina Faso, left about 7 dead, leaving others with varied degrees of injury. Speaking at the Tree Corp Investment Summit in Accra, President Mahama expressed regret over the development, describing it as a stark reminder that insecurity continues to threaten regional integration and cross-border trade. He noted that the incident underscored the urgent need for stronger collaboration among West African states, highlighting the persistent instability could undermine economic cooperation, disrupt supply chain, and reverse gains made under regional trade frameworks.
In a dangerous sub-region, and a recent incident has shown what the threat of instability and insecurity is to our regional integration and trade. As has been the tradition over decades, we trade amongst ourselves. And so agricultural products from Ghana are traded into Burkina Faso, and agricultural products from Burkina Faso, Niger, onions, tomatoes are traded into Ghana. Recently, some traders from Ghana went to Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes, and they were ambushed in a village where they were transacting, and armed insurgents, terrorist armed groups attacked, and unfortunately we lost a number of our compatriots. Happily, there are few survivors, and so the Ghana army is arranging to medevac them from Burkina Faso so that those who are injured can continue to receive treatment here in Ghana. And so on behalf of government and people, we express our condolences to the families of those who were either killed or have been injured.
So on this issue, beneath the routine bustle of the Koforidua market in the eastern regional capital lies a painful silence, one that hangs heavily over the hearts of traders. At the tomato section, grief has replaced the usual banter of business. Traders are mourning one of their own, Constance Yanko, affectionately known as Nanaya, who traveled to Burkina Faso to purchase tomatoes, but tragically lost her life in the dastardly terror attack on Saturday, February 14, 2026. Our Eastern Regional correspondent, Obed has more in the following reports.
Here at the tomato section of Koforidua Market, business continues, but the mood is heavy. Traders here are worried about one of their own, Constance Nyako, affectionately called Yaya, left Ghana on February 5th to purchase tomato in Burkina Faso. She was expected to be back on February 16th, but since Saturday, her phone has gone silent.
Let me tell you
Her family home in Koforidua is now filled with anxious relatives and fellow traders hoping for confirmation about her condition.
But
some tomato traders recounted how Yaya, described as a kind-hearted person, supports many single parents giving tomato on credit for retail.
So Yaya kana some dear. The senior Yankopon say, well, we could have found him and come. The Yenia bre. You need the Kotomo Jempa, Yenia bre papa. The baby was should be a Yankopon in my end. And yes, I shreddy. Sabi second crown pa. Yaya Safako, Kotombra. Oba the sun weba. My farmer, what then and Colani Betty. See Yenia bre. Nia Brintin, I'm making a my wife. You're my
If you're going to Hana, I'm only Mikruna Yajuma. Jana, you're more parking. Ajuman dear, Ajuman dear. Let us see a so Marco Chena canning in Ama, a creaphone every into my baby on Baba Park or Mukan. No more who make a crime. See, I get Channel Macolo do not cut. Macolo do no money there, but and it's an attack. I'm not be seeing.
The attack occurred in the northern part of Burkina Faso. According to Ghana's Interior Minister, 18 Ghanaian traders had entered the country to buy tomatoes when Islamist insurgents stormed the town. The attackers reportedly separated men from women before opening fire. 7 Ghanaian traders were killed. 3 men and 1 woman survived with injuries. 7 other women escaped unharmed, but Yaya is yet to be accounted for. The deceased have since been buried. For families like Yaya's, the wait for clear information is agonizing.
Obia menini ti fie ne dakete ba akoso bi eni didi bom die eye me ya pan me ka se nye me ya na me boa ene kwa na metime bi ma no ame kasa na mitimi kura nkasa.
Reporting for GHOne TV, Kujansa, Koforidua.
Our deepest condolence goes out to the bereaved family. But let's move away from that and do some cocoa stories, as the produce buying companies urging cocoa farmers to cooperate with government as it streamlines the cocoa pricing regime to ensure financial sustainability in the sector. This follows government's recent announcement reducing the producer price of cocoa from 3,600 Ghana cedis to 2,587 per 64 kilogram bag. But responding to accusations of insensitivity by government, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Produce Buying Company in charge of finance and administration, Thomas Eisikuma, says government, together with Cocoa Board, is revamping the PBC to provide improved services and caution cocoa farmers to protect their farmlands from illegal mining. Debate continues among stakeholders following government's decision to reduce the producer price of cocoa from 3,600 Ghana cedis to 2,587 Ghana cedis per bag. Some cocoa farmers have reportedly expressed disappointment over the price cuts. However, the Produce Buying Company says government's decision is a safeguard measure in response to fluctuations in world market prices. Thomas Eisikuma is Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Produce Buying Company in charge of finance and administration.
With the falling of the price on the world market, government had only 2 options, either to subsidize on the part of Cocoa Board or to decrease farm gate prices. And we all know the situation of Cocoa Board. Cocoa Board is already indebted. So government coming in to absorb will also put a strain on government's budget. Now that the pricing is going to be deregularized, so that as price goes up, farmers get much higher prices. As it comes down, it's also reduced.
Thomas is Kuma also advised cocoa farmers to disregard laws to sell their cocoa.
The best agronomic practices to keep it.
Touching on efforts to revamp the PDC as the buyer of last resort, Ms. Kuma outlined several initiatives aimed at improving service delivery to cocoa farmers.
On the ground, more preparations have gone on. There's this cocoa board platform for tracing farmers, tracing cocoa to the farm level. Yes. When we came, we had to join in and register farmers, register our marketing clerks. We've done all that preparation, make sure all our depots and sheds are registered on the cocoa board platform. All that has been done. And in fact, in the beginning of the season, we launched our coming back to the market by purchasing around 2,000 metric tons of cocoa.
The Produce Buying Company in 2025 rewarded selected communities in the Western region for resisting galamsey and protecting cocoa farms. On Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, widely known as the Anti-Gay Bill, has been laid before Parliament once again. The bill, initially passed by Parliament in 2024, did not receive presidential assent at the time. Some MPs have now reintroduced it for reconsideration. However, President John Dramani Mahama has indicated his willingness to sign the bill if it is formally presented to him. But so far, it has yet to be officially laid before the House following several unsuccessful attempts. You'll recall that on February 10, 2026, the Speaker of Parliament formally directed the Business Committee to schedule the bill for consideration.
An act to provide for human sexual rights and family values and related matters.
Honourable members, the bill is read for the first time and referred to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee.
On the floor of Parliament's lead sponsor and MP for Asin South, Reverend Intim Fojo, relayed the bill once again.
The bill seeks to ensure that the definition of gender is not in ambiguity, as is now being authorized in textbooks and teacher manuals. The binary nature of gender as between male and female, and as assigned as birth, and its related activities in line with our Constitution and our values as a society, to protect marriage as contracted between a man and a woman, and to ensure that the family system, which we both cherish, are preserved. It is the expectation of the sponsors, which is bipartisan. It is a bipartisan private members bill which must be on record. And the expectation is that within this meeting, this Honourable House and all relevant committees will attach alacrity to this bill to pass it with urgency, as a matter of urgency, before this House rises, because it is not a new bill. It is an old bill which has gone through all the processes, consultations, and already survived plethora of legal and dissenting opinions, and has gone all the way to Supreme Court and held that no aspect of this bill affronts any aspect of our Constitution.
Meanwhile, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga has slammed the minority over claims that the majority, do not support the bill.
This is important at all times in the consideration of this bill, so that we will know that we are approaching it from a non-partisan point of view. So the name will be behind us, because if we want to go partisan on this bill, it will be a problem. So it is important from the beginning that the bipartisanship is reflected at every stage. So given that he has made a statement, this side of the House should also be given an opportunity to also make a statement indicating our support and commitment to the passage of this bill, a commitment that we know will go up to the signing the bill. Because the other time, the commitment went and then it stopped at the gate of the Flagstaff House. This time to go into the Flagstaff House and we will sign it.
Now, Ghana's Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called for deeper energy cooperation between Ghana and China to strengthen bilateral relations and drive sustainable development. She made the appeal during the 2026 Sonon Asogli Chinese New Year celebration, where she emphasized the need to expand partnerships in power generation and energy infrastructure as part of the growing ties between Ghana and China.
Sonon Asogli has played a significant role in Ghana's power sector as one of the earliest independent power producers with nearly 2 decades of operation. The plant supplies a substantial share of electricity to the national grid and power purchased by ECG, contributing to system reliability. During periods of stress in the power sector, it was Sonon Asogli who agreed to concessions, including waivers to idle capacity charges and discounts on legacy arrears, which helped to ease short-term pressures on the sector, supported continuity of supply and broader economic activity.
You can visit starfm.com.gh for more news. My name is Obed King Gaglo. Have a blessed day.